Hello everybody and welcome back to the Fintech Power 50. We are here with one of our members, Stephen Winyard. Stephen, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Day 3 of Sibos.
Oh, I know.
What are you making of the event so far?
Oh, it's great, actually. It's great. We haven't had that much footfall past the stand because we're in the funky discovery area, which is quite cool. And, of course, being a relatively sort of small, mid-sized company, we haven't spent the millions that it looks like that the big guys have.
The billions and billions.
Yeah, and of course the main hall is just fantastic. It's attracting so many. But no, we judge ourselves on the quality of the meetings we end up having and the people we speak to, and it's so far been very rewarding. So we're really happy.
That's fantastic. Yeah, it seems that everybody's here and everybody is here to network. So
yeah. Network, and then the drinks start at 4, which is a problem.
Oh yeah, always a problem. Always a problem. So you're from Salt Edge. Before we get on with our interview today, we've got some really interesting topics to get discussing. But before we do that, why don't you give our viewers a little insight into who you are and what Salt Edge does?
Yeah, sure. I'm the Chief Sales Officer for Salt Edge, and I've been involved in the open banking arena for about 5 years now. But my career has generally spun technologies that are considered to be disruptive, difficult, awkward, something new, anything that you can bring to market that actually ends up making life better for a lot of people. I love stuff like that, things that people haven't heard of. So, of course, when open banking first started banging its drum some years ago, it attracted my attention, and I was very fortunate to end up with Salt Edge, who are one of the largest open banking product companies in the world. They have connections with, I think, 5,000-6,000 different banks. They operate in 53 countries. They've got a huge array of beautiful clients. So it's a great place for me to be. And I'm surrounded by people who know far more about everything than I do, frankly. There's some real smart people in the business. So and it's a very good place. It's not just looking after the clients it's already got that it's had for some years. You know, it's been trading for a decade. But I get really excited on all the new clients that come forwards with their ideas and things they're trying to achieve with open banking. So frankly, I don't think I've had a job I consider not a job. It's a privilege to do what I do.
Oh, that's really fantastic.
Yeah.
What an answer. Thank you very much.
That's a pleasure.
So Salt Edge is really at the forefront of open banking. I mean, you're highly involved in it.
Yep.
In terms of your perspective on the industry, I mean, what does open banking currently look like?
I still consider it to be quite embryonic, actually. I think it's at this beautiful evolutionary stage where I'd compare it a bit to tap and pay, if you think about that. I mean, I read an article some time ago that actually started, I think, in 1995 in Seoul, where they came up with some concept of someone trying to pay for a bus with a tap and pay or contactless card. And of course, it never really took off until about 2010 when Barclaycard and Visa did it. And then there's still a lot of apathy with consumers. You know, people, even with the world's biggest brands of Visa, MasterCard behind a tap and pay concept, people were still, oh, what's this? Do I trust it? So the consumer generally, wherever they are in the world, takes quite a while to adopt a new technology. So open banking is at that wonderful stage where in one area it's very advanced, and there's a lot of the big banks and a lot of the big institutions that have really embraced what it is and what it can do very well. There are some very bleeding edge customers and clients out there that are adopting it because they can see all the benefits. But then still, I reckon 95% of our job, we're still educators.
We're gonna move sort of on to that education aspect of open banking soon. But I'm just wondering, in terms of its practicality, I mean, how can it be made better and a more seamless experience?
I think that's down to many things, actually. I think that there has to be a greater degree of conformity as to the level of information you get back from banks, for example, if you're doing account information checks, because there isn't consistency in that. And I think, again, that's something that will evolve. Some banks are incredibly quick, provide all the data you want, which means that the clients that are utilising those banks can get all the information they need. And I think it's actually more down to the user journeys. You know, if you take one aspect of open banking, which is just payments, there are many different factors that allow it to be presented or considered as a must-have. People need choice. B, it does reduce card fraud when people are paying with open banking. C, it's much cheaper, but it's not perfect in certain environments. You wouldn't utilize open banking, I know, to pay for a coffee at Starbucks. It's not efficient. You know, you want to tap and get out. Yet for certain retail or certain business-to-business payments, open banking is absolutely fantastic. And then, of course, it's the value of the data that can be provided from account information services that a third-party provider can offer services then to their customers. And it just makes life so much better. And I think that the more people get to use and understand what open banking as a technology or a platform can do for them, that's if they even understand it's open banking. You know, it's really just us in the tech side that know really what it means. But I think the more people get used to it, the better it becomes. It's like any technology.
It grows, and with the amount of
absolutely
it has. In terms of open banking, is it? Do you see a trend in open banking being replaced by open finance? Is that something that we should be watching?
I don't think open finance replaces open banking. I think open finance is a direct result of open banking. You know, open finance to me is the culmination of lots of clever bits of information and lots of clever data. Open banking is, as two words, is actually tremendously broad. You know, there's Salted, for example, do the PSD2 compliance for all the banks. That is open banking, yet I assure you that can be a 200-page complex technical document, yet it's called open banking. You've then got payments, which is open banking, yet that's very complex. And then you've got account information services, which is open banking, yet again, amazingly deep. So, it's a very broad thing. And when it comes to open finance, that to me is all about the richness of data, the richness of the APIs. How much information can I, as a consumer, consent to a company that wants me to do something, get a mortgage, get a loan, new car, whatever. How much information can they get from this beautiful piece of technology that's actually going to help me? That's ultimately what it's all about. Is it going to make my life as the consumer better? And that to me is what open finance is about. It's the breadth of all of that data and information, and how well other companies out in the world take it, manage it, present it back in a meaningful format.
Throughout this discussion, you've really emphasized how open banking gets a lot better with the more people that use it. And we've seen in other areas of the industry, I'm thinking more towards digital assets and cryptocurrency. We saw when consumers actually started to understand how it worked and how it could present benefits to them, they started to use it more, which is really what you touched upon in your first point. So I'm just wondering, in terms of it, with adoption in mind, how can we educate the everyday consumer on open banking, and what should they be learning?
Wow, okay, that's I mean, you if I could answer that question, that's utopia. If there was a way to tell every single person in the world that's engaged in commerce in any form whatsoever that open banking is better, cheaper, faster, quicker, safer, then we'd all be very successful. But it's just not possible. I'm afraid it's an iterative process where some of the bigger clients in the world, some of the bigger retailers, some of the bigger brands are adopting open banking as part of their day-to-day process, and that is allowing consumers to go, oh, hold on, what is this? What? I've never heard about this before. And they try it once, and then the response generally is, oh, this is really good. Or how are you getting access to this data? Or even think about, I don't know, applying for a mortgage. In the old days, you'd have to take photocopies of your bank accounts and numerous other proof of this. These days, you can literally consent to access to your account. They can check affordability. They can check that your data is correct, your identity is correct. They can check what you've been spending money on. And it's all literally done seamlessly in seconds, and it's much more cost effective. So as a consumer, the more that I get used to, or the more that people generally get used to the fact that this technology is around, they'll just adopt it. Because we as humans love things. If it's quicker, faster, cheaper, easier, because we're so impatient, no one's ever got any time. So that's where open banking is going to underpin society to help it get just better generally. So open banking generally is inevitable. It cannot go backwards. It can only go forwards.
It's opening out the more that we engage with it, really.
Yeah, and people are coming up with ideas. You know, some of our bigger clients challenge us not just to provide the technology stack that we do, but to give them concepts and theories of trends or ideas that others are thinking about. There's a lot of very smart people thinking about, well, hold on, we've got access to all this beautiful information or data now. What else can we do with it? Oh, we can do this, we can do that. So there's a lot. It's life in general with technology, isn't it? Once you've got, I don't know, 10 bits of information, you'd be surprised how many people can do different things with 10 bits of information. So that's what I love. You know, it's ingenuity. It's allowing new businesses to start and do cracking jobs based on the fact that the open banking platform exists.
So Stephen, we are here at Sibos 2022. It's the first conference that they've held in the last 3 years. And as you mentioned at the beginning, everybody seems to be here with all of their ideas and plenty of conversations to be had. I'm just wondering, from your company's standpoint, I mean, what are you looking to get out of Sibos this year? And more importantly, what's next for your company?
Out of Sibos, I think we're looking to reinforce the relationships we've got with existing clients, and obviously find new ones. That's what we're here for. You know, we're always hungry for new opportunities, and I think as far as the future of Salt Edge, we're in a very lucky position. Actually, we've grown extremely well over many years. We have lots of great clients that I think are starting to use us even more. And frankly, we're hungry for growth. We're on a mission to become a unicorn in the next 2 years, which based on current performance is totally within our crosshairs. So yeah, we're excited about the future. You know, we're employing more people all the time. We're after exceptional talent. We're opening up in different territories like Saudi Arabia, which is becoming a very prominent market now. And we've got very focused, targeted growth in the US, Canada, and many other parts of the world, as well as learning that we've done extremely well in certain areas so far, and we're just going to do a rinse and repeat. So obviously that means more people, more engagement. So yeah, we've got very ambitious growth plans, and we're excited for the future.
Well, Stephen Winyard of Salt Edge, it's been fantastic to speak to you.
Thank you.
Lots of very exciting things mentioned in this conversation.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Yes, I hope you enjoyed day 3 of Sibos.
Yes, I'm going to enjoy day 4.5 when I leave and go home because I'm tired.
Oh, I'm getting there myself too.
Yeah.
But we shall catch up again soon.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
You.